What's up? Today we are going to be talking about the UGG timeline. But thank you, we now have 13 subs. Oh, by the way, this is the Banana Bro official. I talked about him when we were first going into the UGG timeline thing. But me and him, we came up with a theory about how it happens. But also, the video about where I showed that bouncing basketball glitch or whatever, he's the one who told me about that. So give some credit to him. Little diddle munch. He's a banana. But basically, there is a timeline connecting every single Gorilla Tag game from UGG all the way to Scary Baboon and Big Scary and things like that. But I'm going to be remembering stuff along the way too, so just watch after that. But let's just get into it then. So, hey, move your arm. Move your arm. I'll say the first part, but we can give some more details together. So, as we know, us Uggs, us monkeys, our uglies, evolved from the chickens. Some hieroglyphs or whatever around from that. But from the chickens, we came to Ugg, and from that volcano. Oh, you're glitching, man. Okay, do you want to tell them what happens after that volcano up there erupts and we move from Ugg onto the next?
So then after that, the ash covers the sky, and then there's an ice age because the sun is blocked, and then there is snow, and then it creates the Gorilla Tag map, and then the monkeys.
You're very glitchy, bro. I can't hear you. His mic is being zesty. I don't know if it catches up in teleporting or it's just me glitching. You're teleporting. So basically, we go from UGG into Gorilla Tag from that volcano up there exploding, and we go into, it covers an ice age for a while, and then we go into Gorilla Tag and we start making advancements like city and all this stuff in forest, and the remains are from mountains is where the main thing happened or whatever, but that's all that stuff. But this is just ancient Gorilla Tag and everything, and the monks were evolved, and this is just kind of locked or whatever. Like lost, not locked.
Okay,
Kind of
and then after the Gorilla Tag starts happening, there's a new company founded called Gorilla Corp. They funded the city and all that stuff, but then they started experimenting, and they made monsters. But then they had to contain the monsters, so they put them down in Ghost Reactor, and made the monkeys collect orbs that the monsters, had down there, and power our Gorilla Tag.
But moving on from that, then it goes into Animal Company. Gorilla Corp is the company part in Animal Company. That office, the monsters, they couldn't contain them forever, and eventually Gorilla Tag, it kind of overwhelmed, and it's just
Post-apocalyptic.
yeah, post-apocalyptic. Speaking of Gorilla Tag, though, some of the ash and the aliens from the volcano hit aliens in space, and they came down and infected the gorillas and Gorilla Tag because it takes a while for it to transmit the lava disease. So they didn't have like magma and stuff back in their thing, so they came down to experiment with life and what it would be, and they infected them with the lava disease, the lava monkeys and stuff like that. But that's a whole other video and story, which he'll probably talk about since he does Gorilla Tag most of the time.
Hello.
But from there, Animal Company happens, and the monsters that Gorilla Corp made just have their own environments, and there's company coins and all this stuff, and the gorillas are just, going around doing their things. But from there,
Animal Company basically just made company coins to help to get the monkeys to help destroy the monsters.
And you see some of this chaos and unfold with all the monks. And if you've ever been in an Animal Company lobby, you know it's very chaotic. But
oh no.
Basically, the violence just keeps getting more and more until it eventually breaks out in a war, a nuclear war, in fact, which destroys the Upworld and leaves the monsters there. That's where we move into Scary Baboon, where they make an underground lab, which was originally meant for testing the Gorilla Corp. It was the old fragments of the Animal Company monsters that were downstairs, and they were testing these all new weapons. But an old nuke suddenly detonated and made a hole through the ground after the war was over. This it's been a long time, but the war ends, and an old giant nuke in Scary Baboon creates a hole straight into the laboratory, and there's monsters outside now, huge ones. But all of those things happen.
And they start taking over the lab.
Yeah, the entire lab is just taking over. Scary Baboon. That's what happens there. But we do from there. We don't. This is kind of the biggest in between section that we don't know what happens in between. I believe. I think the best explanation would be maybe the monkeys get wiped out completely, and aliens come, like, technology-wise. I think the Orion Drift monkeys would be best fit in that, where they came and they see all this destruction, but
Or it's just the leftovers of the gorillas. They programmed them to be what was left of their civilization before they went extinct.
yes, but from that we go into Big Scary. Now, our theory about Big Scary is actually it's not real events. It's a museum to show what happened. Those 2 war maps, that's what the overworld or whatever was experienced through the Great Monkey War, the Monkey War 1 and Monkey War 2. But that was just what completely destroyed all of this. And I believe that the monsters actually came from the dino DNA, like the Oogamobile. Some of that was left over into the dinos, not the dinos, into the monsters, and that's what made them so big and strong. It's from that. But the monkeys get completely wiped out, and the Orion Drifts come down, and they can make a museum. That museum's called Big Scary. So all those levels are just exhibits about what happened to previously. But they can't trace back all the way to this one, all the way to Ugg, so that's kind of like that. But the Orion Drift
Everything
monkeys,
was lost
I
after the mass
believe, were
extinction.
also the aliens that infected the monkeys with the magma. Crispin on. But
Stop interrupting.
anything else, Banana Bro?
Well, I feel like the Orion Drifts are kind of a little separate than the aliens.
Yeah, I'm not that
feel like-
informed on the Orion Drifts, so, but I'm pretty sure they're technologically advanced.
I mean, I haven't really played the game that much.
Yeah,
I
me
played
neither.
it like once.
But this is not canon. Just letting you know. If it could be canon, that would be really cool.
Fan
But
theory.
this is a very cool fan theory, and we should make a video explaining Gorilla Tag lore, because we were trying to watch that the other day. There was like 0 videos on that, so we can make a cool one.
Yeah, like,
We just need to do our research.
and a lot of editing. A lot of
Yes,
editing.
a lot of editing. But this is gonna be the first long format video, and that's basically the history of the timeline.
And
that connects-
also a little bit more on Gorilla Tag. You know how they're doing like a ton of live events if you play Gorilla Tag? Those are kind of leading up to Animal, like Gorilla Corp getting really evil.
yeah, it's just progressively gets worse and worse. But that's the timeline that connects all of them, and see you on the next time. Thanks for watching.